All right, let's get right into this. We're going to explore a story today that is just simultaneously heartbreaking and unbelievably hopeful. It's the true story of two families, two kids, both 9 years old, and the single heart that connects them forever. And this is about so much more than a medical procedure. It's really about loss, incredible generosity, and a second chance at life that is nothing short of extraordinary.
So, right here, these are the two children at the very heart of this story, Keira Ball and Max Johnson. They were both the same age, 9 years old, but their lives were heading in completely opposite and really tragic directions. Keira's young life was about to be cut short, while Max's was just hanging by a thread, desperately waiting for a miracle.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly sums up what we're talking about. It gets to the core paradox of organ donation. For one family to get that joy of a new beginning, another one has to go through the deepest kind of grief. It's a concept that's both beautiful and, honestly, just incredibly difficult to wrap your head around.
Okay, so let's start with Keira's side of the story and this impossible gift that came from such an unimaginable tragedy.
This all happened back in 2017. A car accident led to catastrophic brain injuries for little Keira. Doctors did absolutely everything they could, but the damage was just irreversible. For her family, in that moment, their entire world just stopped.
And this is where something truly incredible happens. In what had to be their darkest, most unbearable moment, surrounded by grief, Keira's family chose compassion. They made the unbelievably courageous decision to donate her organs, to turn their own personal tragedy into a source of life for someone else.
Now, at the very same time the Ball family was facing this terrible loss, another family was in a desperate race against the clock. And this is where we meet Max.
Max was fighting a condition called dilated cardiomyopathy. Now, in simple terms, what that means is his heart had just become too weak to do its job. It was enlarged, it couldn't pump effectively, it was failing. And without a new one, he just wasn't going to survive.
So you can just imagine, for months, Max and his family were living with this constant, gnawing anxiety. Every single day was uncertain. He was on the urgent transplant list, and all they could do is hope and pray and just wait. Wait for a call that they knew might never come. They were literally waiting for a miracle.
And then it happened. The miracle they were waiting for. But it arrived in the most bittersweet way imaginable. These two completely separate worlds, Keira's and Max's, were about to collide.
Think about the chain of events here, how everything had to line up just perfectly. It all starts with the Ball family's selfless, incredible decision. That leads to the phone call, the one that changes absolutely everything for the Johnsons. Then comes the unbelievably complex, high-stakes surgery. And finally, you get to this moment that just feels like pure magic. A new beat. Keira's heart starting to pump life through Max's body. And that's the thing, right? This moment was so much more than just a medical triumph. I mean, yes, the surgical skill involved is just astounding. But at its core, this was a profoundly human event. It was this incredible, poignant exchange. One family's devastating loss became another's saving hope. One family's grief enabled another's endless gratitude. But of course, the story doesn't just end there in the operating room. The legacy of this one event, of this one heart, continues to unfold for both of these families.
After the transplant, you have these two totally different realities happening at the same time. On one side, you've got the Ball family trying to navigate this unimaginable loss, but they're also finding this powerful meaning in their daughter's legacy. And on the other side, the Johnson family, just overwhelming relief, celebrating this precious second chance at life. Two different journeys, forever linked together.
And the impact of that one decision was even bigger than just Max. Let this number sink in. In total, Keira's gift saved 4 lives. 4! That means 4 families received the call they had been so desperately waiting for, all because of one family's generosity in their absolute darkest hour. And eventually, the two families actually met. Can you even begin to imagine what that must have been like? Max's parents meeting the people who saved their son's life, and Keira's parents getting to listen to their daughter's heartbeat on. They formed this incredibly powerful, poignant bond, united by the legacy of Keira's heart. Okay, so let's just zoom out for a second here. This incredibly personal human story, it all sits on a foundation of decades of scientific progress and really tough ethical debates. A moment like this just doesn't happen in a vacuum.
It's built on the shoulders of medical pioneers who first made heart transplants even possible. It depends on the incredible science of immunosuppressant drugs, the ones that stop the body from rejecting a new organ, and it's all shaped by these ongoing, really difficult conversations about ethics and legislation, like the shift to opt-out donation systems in some countries, which has dramatically increased the number of available donors.
Which really brings us to this fundamental question, doesn't it? It's something that doctors, ethicists, and lawmakers all grapple with. How do we as a society respectfully and ethically navigate this very delicate space where one person's deepest loss creates another's greatest hope?
At the end of the day, it all comes back to this. We can talk about the science, the surgery, the statistics, but what this story really hammers home is that behind every single transplant, there's a human narrative, a story of profound loss, immense love, and incredible hope. And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. When you consider Keira's legacy, the 4 lives she saved, the families she gave hope to, the bonds she forged between strangers, it just makes you wonder, what really is the true measure of a single life?